I started Kids Company 18 years ago because I trained as a psychotherapist, but became aware that actually there were a group of children who didn't need therapy, they needed parents. So I decided to set up this street level centre where staff are on duty. So we have psychiatrists, social workers, teachers, artists, musicians, rollerbladers, anyone who loves children, okay? And the criteria genuinely is genuine love for children, and then you bring a skill to the equation. So the kids come on the premises, and then we do an assessment of what their needs are, and we try and problem solve their situation. So just to give you a sense of what kind of problems are we talking about. So we're getting very small babies coming with teenage mothers, or an 11-year-old will bring a younger child. The number one problem is lack of food at the moment. If you're on benefits, if you manage yourself impeccably, the maximum you're going to end up with for your food budget a week is £10. And it's especially difficult in a rich country because just next to you will be someone who has the possibility to have the resources. So not only you're incredibly poor and impoverished, but you also have shame added to it.
And I think that shame is very important. I remember, my sons are now 20 and 24, but I remember first coming into contact with children that you've described when they started school. And I always remember seeing one of them on the bus, and everyone in the bus was frightened of this boy because he was a terrifying, member of a gang by this point. And I looked at him and thought, I remember when you were 5. And he saw me, and his face, he sort of smiled because he remembered me and I remembered him. And it was heartbreaking. You could see the trajectory, of his life. And what Kids Company does is to try and change that trajectory early enough for it to make a real difference. One of the things I've always found very moving in learning about your story, and I think it's true for all of us, which is that it's only when we experience pain or loss or suffering or bullying or some form of trauma that we become more empathetic towards others.
It's interesting actually, because I'd already decided to work with vulnerable children before I had the traumas. I think I was just one of those loopy characters born in this world. And literally, I say to people, vocation bit my butt and didn't let go, And that was the sort of child I was. I remember telling my mother, I want to open an orphanage and dedicate my life to childhood. She just took one look at me and thought, what? And so it was very powerful, that sense of wanting to do something. I made my mother become a member of a psychological society with child development journals, arriving every Wednesday. I used to climb into bed and try and read it. And it was as if I knew something, but I was looking for a vocabulary for it, And she was brilliant because even though we're chalk and cheese, she never tried to change me. So she'd always facilitate whatever it was. And the mistake we make this country is that we think only the biological parent can love. And the truth is, human species can love strangers, and they can love stranger children. And what we have to do as a society is create structures where these children can be cared for again. And it doesn't have to be that they have to be taken into care.
For young people, to send them into young offenders units or prison, it's very, very ineffective, and it's economically ineffective as well.
The point is, for a while, I could do it by being charity of the year for this bank or that bank. But now they're all turning around and saying, we've done you, give us something new. How can you package a kid's underpants? It's not like the Barclays bikes where you can put the logo on it. My problem is you can't put the logo on our kid's butt. Every bank has given to us. All the major philanthropists have given to us. And they all want something novel or a new project. And all I need to continue doing is loving and caring for children till they're robust. You know, there's only so much you can do to turn that into a new project. So now what I want is central government coming to take responsibility for these children financially. And we need to help, generally, children's social services and child mental health to cope with the volume that's coming at it. I would love you to write to your MPs or to write into Downing Street and say, as an individual, I really care about the fact that we have so many vulnerable children in this country, and we need a vision and some action to make sure that they're safe. Just something as simple as that. And you can put it into your own words, because it's not even about saving Kids Company. It's really genuinely about actually not allowing these children to remain so invisible. I have to raise 24 million a year. Yeah. Honestly, it comes from 75,000 different sources every year. The general public have been amazing. You know, all these people who do things in their offices for us, and it literally is small bits. Don't think it's big ones. Chris Martin and Coldplay give us a 1.2 million a year. Then we've got a 500,000 from the Rousings, and then we've got a couple of hundreds, and then the rest of it is the general public, with central government giving us 4 million at first, and then I kicked up a fuss and it was another 500,000. My problem is that before Christmas, I'm really short of money, and I've got about 4,000 coming to us on Christmas Day because they literally don't have anywhere to go.
This is 4,000 children with
children,
nowhere
young
else to
people,
go.
and vulnerable adults coming to us on Christmas Day, and then we're delivering food to another 10,000. So, because otherwise they literally wouldn't have enough. And schools are closed. This is the problem. Most of these kids are reliant on a school lunch. But schools, when they close during the holidays, local authorities don't provide an alternative. So all these kids who are on school meals end up being left without anything during the holidays.
I mean, to give you a sense of how enormous this problem is, Camilla, you'll correct me if I'm wrong, but isn't it something extraordinary? Like, is it as much as a third of children are still living in poverty?
Yes, it is a third of children.
1/3.
Yeah.
How can that be possible in a civilized society?
Yeah.
In one of the richest nations in the world, that 1 in 3 children are growing up in poverty, which gives you some idea of why Kids Company needs to raise 24 million a year.
So many of our kids are now at university, and they would have never had that chance, you know. And it's really just care and believing in them that delivered them to universities and jobs. So it's absolutely possible. It's defeatist thinking out there that is saying, oh, we can't do anything about it, it's too big a problem. It's not a big problem, it just needs vision.
And love.
And love.
So
Yeah.
let's believe in love. And
Yeah.
thank you, Camilla.
Thank you very, very much. Thank you. Thank you very much. Thank you. Thank you. Thank you for coming to listen to me, and thank you to you. You really did a brilliant job. Yeah.